welcome to Offer Your Voice. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jeana.
And we are excited today because we're going to share some of our own personal story with you.
Yeah.
As you remember from our first episode, we talked through about the reality that we want to share stories. And we want you to share your story. We want to share, and we want everyone to offer your voice.
Yeah.
And that's very, very important to us. And
navigating different seasons of life,
transition.
Like the hard, the good, the triumphs, the lows, the mountains, the valleys, all those places, and what it looks like to overcome and to rise above circumstances, and even in the toughest of times. And the beauty is we can learn from one another, one another's stories.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's really, powerful when people share the things that they have walked through, that are difficult, that are hard. And then they're on the other side. And that's what we believe we're sharing today. We're kind of in a really sweet season, but we've come through a very difficult season. Yeah. But we want to actually go back to early life, share a little bit about our stories, from childhood.
Yeah.
And then, to the right now.
Yeah.
So Jeana, share us a little bit about your story.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in, Florida, on the Panhandle, on the Gulf side. Beautiful. There. Loved living there when I was young.
Beach girl, huh?
Yeah, beach girl. Girl. Yeah. I like to surf, to do the things. But I do love the beach, so I'm glad to be back on the beach.
That's right.
But
yes, we are filming right here from beautiful coastal North Carolina. So yeah,
absolutely.
The beaches are wonderful.
They are. My story, is kind of one of these conflicting stories because my mom was awesome. She was such a beautiful woman, loved my brother and I intensely. She was a nurse, an ICU nurse. She was incredible. She was just too much for words. I don't even have all the words to even say how great she was.
I can attest.
Yeah.
In the years that I've known her.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know, she passed away about a year ago, so that's why I'm referring to her in the past tense. But she was just absolutely amazing. And my father was super fun fella. He is still living. And he was great as far as just being the life of the party. My brother and I, we really did have one of those kind of looking from the outside, it looked really perfect. But there was a lot of turmoil inside. My father was... maybe still is. I'm not sure. So I don't speak about the present because I'm not in communication or contact with him. But was an alcoholic and even a drug addict. And so our life was volatile. Yeah, that's a good word. It was volatile, and you kind of didn't know what you were going to get on any given day. Right. And it was abusive. And so... And speaking of that, I was sexually abused by a family member and a neighbor as well. So all of that.
I'm so sorry, Jeana, that you went through that, because I mean, sadly, statistically, we know that is a lot of people's stories, both men and women and boys and girls. It's just a horrible stain on our society and on life. But I'm just so sorry that you went through that as a child.
You're right. And thank you for saying that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And statistically, you're right. 1 in 3. And
that's just the reported. Which is maddening.
Yeah.
And
it is. But that's why offer your voice.
That's
because the truth is, when you're in those situations, and certainly as a vulnerable child, you feel voiceless.
Yes.
Of which my mom did not know until I was an adult that these things were happening. I know she probably would have, done some damage if she had. So,
Certainly.
yeah. But, you know, when you...
Mama Bear would have popped out.
That's right. That's right. So you do feel voiceless.
Because you felt your voice was stolen.
It was. It really was. And by trusted ones, you know, by ones that I thought I could trust with my life, literally.
Sure.
And they did betray that. And so... and I can smile about it now because I've had a lot of healing from it. So it's not because I make light of it, because I do know how intensely serious it is. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I do love that Ashley and I have 4 boys because we could teach them how to honor young ladies and just...
And they
do. Yeah, they're
a beautiful redemption.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. It is a beautiful redemptive story. And
from your generation.
Yeah, absolutely. But I still had a great school life. I loved having fun at school. I was really outgoing, shockingly, because that is also not statistically, you know, the story, but it was mine. I really loved people, and I loved still do. I loved hearing their stories, even from a young age. And I think that that's just something that's sort of woven and ingrained, you know?
For sure.
But yeah, my brother, my mom, and I, we moved from Florida. My parents separated when I was 14, mm-hmm. and then we moved the following year to Virginia. So talk about a culture shock.
I'm sure.
Virginia's great. It was just different. So
bummer is you weren't on Virginia Beach. So
right. I was not on Virginia Beach, no. So, but, you know, that was a transition. Enough of that part. Yeah. So it was, you know, it was for sure a transition. Yeah. And tough going to a new school as a teenage girl, you know, and trying to navigate that and figure that out. And all the while my father stayed in Florida. So he didn't obviously come with us. Yeah. And he was not in the picture. Yeah.
Tell the podcast folks, about your granddad.
That's great. Yeah. That's so good. So I did have...
Because this is also another beautiful place of redemption in your life.
You're right. So my grandfather, my mom's dad, amazing. He's just as amazing as she was. And he was really like my father. So I really was blessed to have him in my life. He became your surrogate father. And that's really who we moved in with my grandparents when we moved to Virginia. So it was
a safe place.
Yes, it was. And it was to be near them. So, yeah. So, he was so fun. He would let me stay up late with him, you know, and watch cowboy movies. I thought that was so cool. We would drink this, funky drink, orange juice and Diet Pepsi. I know. And we still do it. I make my boys do it every year.
In honor of him.
In honor of a celebration of his life. Every year we do it. And we kind of, you know, they get, but it's great. It's great.
I have had a sip one time.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it's not a concoction. I don't know how he picked that one up, but
I love it.
It's memorable.
It is. And I thought it was the best thing ever, but he really was he loved God intensely, and he would be on his knees every morning. And I remember, just walking downstairs at his home and watching him just on his knees, and like, what could he possibly...
He was a minister, right?
Yeah, in his own right. He was an insurance salesman, but he was a minister as well. But yeah, he would just pray for hours, and he just loved people, and you knew when you were in his presence how much you were loved. So good. Yeah, he's got quite the legacy, and I'm grateful to have even a piece of he and my mom woven into my thread. So,
well, the beauty of the mark of his life on your life, even through the things that you went through, the extreme abuse and just the pain that you went through as a child. And then also the joy. It's really strange how life is like that. You know, you're on this path, and good things are happening at the same time that very, very bad things are happening at sometimes
it's true.
in people's lives.
Yeah.
And so it's almost, it almost kind of messes with your thinking on how can I be happy when this difficult thing is happening, or how can I, all of that. But the mark of his, just his spirit and who he is and who he was to you, just the impact is so beautiful and redemptive.
Yeah. Yeah. He's good. My brother too, Yeah. He marked my brother as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that's much like my family as well, that my, my parents actually, they had been married for 16 years, did not think that they could have any children. Yeah. And here I am. I was born in their 17th year of marriage. And, so that was quite shocking to me.
Beautiful.
My mom actually was taking jujitsu lessons. Shout out to Cindy and Michael, whose jujitsu gym is right down here. They're holding it down in the jujitsu space. But she was, 35, tumbling around, and found out she was pregnant. So that was kind of cool, especially because she had wanted to have a child for so long.
Yes.
And then quickly decided to, forego that. But then 4 years later, my brother was born when my parents were 40. So that was quite an amazing thing. But it just shows sort of like how our life is brought into the earth in the right timing. Yeah. Like I could be a lot older, or actually a brother or sister of mine, because I am who the Lord called me to be in this moment.
Right.
And so that's important and impactful. And that's always sort of marked me.
Yeah.
What's also marked me is my grandparents, both as well. My name is actually Michelle Wren Hilliard. And so my grandmother's first name, my mother's mother, Wren, is in my middle name. And then my initials, MWH, are my dad's mother's initials.
I didn't know that.
Hilliard. I know. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So I have both the grandmothers in my name, and love to have their expression of their impact in my life, always going forward. But sadly, though, when I was 14, interesting, you were talking about when you were 14, that was such a life transition for you. Because also when I was 14, and just turned 14, my father died by suicide. And that was a devastation to our family. It was so hard and also perplexing, because he was a wonderful and happy and joyous person, did not meet a stranger, and just loved well as well. Like you said about your granddad, how he loved people. My daddy loved people. And all of my friends in those years, my growing up years, would say, get Mr. Bill to play basketball with us. Get Mr. Bill to play cards with us. So he was
just the Eckerd story.
Oh yeah. Well, yes, when I was a little baby.
So cute.
I mean, tiny baby. Sweet. On Saturdays, I went with my dad to Eckerd's for his insurance appointments, because he was also an insurance salesman. And my mom had the day to clean the house and do what she needed to do. And so my dad would book appointments and, heat up my bottle at the Eckerd's at the drugstore and change my diet. Just, come by and see my baby and buy some insurance. And so I was like a little way to connect people. But that was fun.
Great.
I don't remember any of it, obviously, but I hear the stories.
How much he loved.
I hear the stories. Yes, absolutely. Yes, for sure. And I think that was the thing that was difficult for me in that moment, was I'd had such a wonderful childhood, very loved. I had extravagant extended family that just, I was nearby and close to aunts and uncles, grandparents, just so loved, and we had been so wanted, me and my brother. Yeah. So that was just it was almost like incongruent with anything we had ever experienced. And so the loss of that, of my dad, and the loss of kind of this idealistic kind of childhood of what I thought was, I wrestled with, was my childhood a lie? And that was very hard, because it was not. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And I know that people have heard this story, but it's my story, and it's part of how I think and process and navigate how people experience loss, even tragic loss and tragedy. and why I am concerned about people being isolated and sort of inside of their own selves, thinking that that's why we want to cultivate community.
Yes.
We don't want anyone to ever feel isolated or alone.
Right.
That they couldn't reach out and connect with someone.
Absolutely.
That's the critical piece.
It is critical. And yeah. And that is exactly, though, the point, too. Even moving forward, when we hear other people's stories, is that because that is so sad, and because you can't fully wrap your head around it, understand it. Yeah.
Even now.
And some of you have lost people or experienced hardships, or your story is your story. And the beauty is, when we know one another's stories, we also can understand why certain things might, I'm going to use a buzzword if that's okay.
It's okay.
Might trigger us.
It's not a buzzword. It's actually a real reality.
It's a real reality.
It's a real reality.
I don't like to say too many buzzwords, if you know what I mean, but I also don't
but it's
want to be aloof either, because the truth is that it is that. And, there is a reality that there are 3 main fears in our life. Yeah. And that is failure, rejection, and abandonment. And when you feel those things, and, you and I have talked about this at length, that, my fear has always been failure. And I think it's because my family didn't stay together, whatever. I thought I was not good enough, or in lack of, or not enough of. So then I became performance driven, and I have to prove myself. I have to do all the things, and put on the smile all the time. And, you've got to be perfect. And that's so inaccurate.
It's
exhausting. It's exhausting. Quite frankly. Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And the third one on that list is abandonment. And that was the one that I obviously struggled with, just with such sudden loss. And that it was a choice, even though I know that, darkness can mess up your perceptions and your perspectives, obviously. And that's why, we want to offer life and beauty and joy and the good, because life is full of joy. There are hard moments, and there are hard things that we all walk through. But there is always hope. There's always more, and there's always good ahead, and I would have fainted if I had not believed I would see goodness in the land of the living. That's my heart, is that we are going to continually see good, because there's good ahead. Yeah. And that's what I believe.
There is good ahead. Yeah. And so as we continue on our stories, right? So living in Virginia, I adapted to a new high school, which was interesting to say the least, but, powered through it, got there, did the thing, and I made a lot of friends. It was really a great experience. It was interesting, but great. So I have no complaints, really. I loved being close to my grandfather for those years, because he did pass away far too early. So he passed away my first year of college. So I did get to have those couple years with him intentionally, and every day, days. So that really mattered to my heart. And, like Michelle said, you have this over here that is playing with this over here. And somehow, there's this really hard and this really good, and you're trying to figure it all out and weigh it out. And you don't really always know how it works, and you can't see the full picture when you're in it. But on the other side of it, I'm really grateful for that time, even though it was a tough season. But I did end up going to college. From there, it was an hour away from where I lived, which I think if I had been in Florida, I might possibly not have gone to that college. It was a college in Virginia, Liberty University. And I had a really great time there. I went with one of my best friends from Florida. So we were roomies, and we had a great time. Shout out to Melissa. But yeah, that's where I ended up meeting Ashley, and we ended up dating, and then, you know, obviously got married, and that part of the story, you know, continues on. But
tell us about your boys, Jeana.
Yeah, I will. Well, they ended up coming a little bit later. So after we were married, we ended up moving to Wilmington, North Carolina. And had to get back to the beach, but
for sure.
But yeah, and then several years later, Jacob was born. They're all amazing. Jacob is now, let's see, he just turned 23, right? And then Levi was born shortly after that, and he's getting ready to be 22. Gavin just turned 19, and Asher will shortly be 17. So yeah, they're
like this coming week.
They're all, you know, growing up faster than I can say the words, but they're really, really great young men.
You know, that adage that people say, like the days are long, but the years go fast.
Ah, it's so true. You know, it's so true.
They're so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. And the days are really only long when they're young, you know. That adage stops as they get older. But the truth is, I mean, they're just, I you know, we could not be more blessed. They are amazing young men who love well. They love each other. They love us. They love God. They love people. They love just community. They just love well.
Yeah.
And so
they're joyous.
They are joyous. They are fun, happy,
loud,
so loud. Yes, they are. Yeah, our house is loud.
Full of fun.
They're not all in it anymore. But yeah, full of fun. Yes.
So good.
Yeah. So that was a really great time.
They were growing up years.
Yeah. It was.
Tell us one story, something that's funny with the boys.
Oh, well, I'll tell you this. I feel like, you know, like you kind of live out I feel like sometimes the more kids you have, you live it out in segments.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I feel like I lived out the first two and then the second two, you know, sort of thing. So,
well, they're so close in age.
Yeah, they are so close in age. The first two are 15 months apart. So, but Jacob and Levi were always hilarious as kids because they would get into so much trouble. And Levi was so chill.
And he still is.
He still is, even though he's a brute. But he would let Jacob do all kinds of funny things, you know, to him. So they used to have this please forgive me, Jacob, for sharing this story, but it's so funny. But they had this rocking horse that was a motorcycle. And so Jacob put Levi on it. I mean, Levi couldn't have been more than 2 and decided that it would be super fun to put him on it and then let it go down the stairs. Yeah. So he went down the stairs. Thankfully, Levi didn't fall off of it. He did stay on it the whole way. Just the rocking horse went through the sheetrock at the end of the stairs. So, you know, Ashley had a little patchwork to be done, but it was so funny. But those were the stories all the time.
Oh,
like,
man.
You know, coloring the walls and coloring each other and, you know, all the things. But it was so great. Like, I wouldn't trade anything, you know, all the traditions that we've created, dyeing Easter eggs and building gingerbread houses and just doing all the fun, you know. So I wouldn't trade a moment of a messy house for sure.
Yeah, and from what I understand, I would have loved to have been with the boys when they were very tiny. I did get to have some young time with Asher, but when they were very tiny, it sounds like you just did all the things with them.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Everything was an experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always doing the gingerbread. That was tradition.
Yeah.
Even now. Even still.
Yeah, still. I mean, still do it.
Yeah,
that's good. Always love it. Painting pumpkins and doing the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so good.
Yeah.
What a beautiful.
Everything was about the
sort
moment.
of like how you created that for them, that experience for them.
Thanks.
And the joy. Beautiful.
Thanks. My mom did that for my brother and I, though.
Yes.
So it was also learned, you know, she loved creating those special moments. And so I loved carrying that piece of her touches, you know, with my boys.
Absolutely.
Well. Yeah.
Well, I would say the same about my mom. She she said that I was just her little plaything for a while because
that's awesome.
She was so excited to have me. And then it's a total surprise of JW as well, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we would do things like that where, she would pack a little lunch and then ride me on her bike to the park, and we'd have our lunch and a little devotional, just like all the time. We did all kinds of things, and, just loved that. And then even as I was older and my friends would come, I mean, it was my house always had people. I always had, 4 or 5 girls every weekend. We would go swimming at Miss Maddie's in the summertime and, just hang out, go to the skating rink, which I know you know about.
Yeah.
You all may not know as much about that if you're not in the 80s, 90s generation, but we definitely
loved kind of the thing.
We loved the skating rink back then, and it just had so much fun. It was just even after the heart of the loss of my father, my dad, just having people in your life that you were still just connected with and love that knew him. I have a couple of really good friends from my childhood, that just were so kind to me during that time, and they felt the loss of my dad as well.
Yeah.
And just you feel that, and you go through something together.
Yes.
And that's kind of just the point of community and relationship, is that you're in it. You're in it together.
Yes.
That you're when one weeps, you're weeping. When one's joyous, you're joyous. That's just who we are together. And that's what we want to create here, even with Offer Your Voice, is that we want you to share the things that are on your hearts, the things that you feel, that you need some place to offer that. That's important and vital.
Yeah.
And then I would say for me, speaking of college, I took about 3 years off college. I went to UNC Greensboro, but I was homesick in Greensboro. I mean, it's 2.5 hours away. It was ridiculous.
Understandable.
But my brother was playing football. I couldn't see him play. And, my grandmother was still living, and I always would go see her every day. It was just very, very hard to be away from home at that time. Plus, I graduated when I was 17, so I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
But then I decided to just take time off school because, hey, you don't need to waste some money when you don't know what you're going to do for sure. And then I decided I wanted to go back to school or go to school for ministry.
Okay.
And so I went down to from pastor who had been down to Emmanuel College in Franklin Springs, Georgia. Tiny little place, but a really important place, about 30 minutes north of Athens, where University of Georgia is. So we would always go to Athens and do University of Georgia stuff, as well as stuff that we were doing at Emmanuel. But it was a great experience. It was a beautiful, beautiful time.
Yeah.
I made just deep, deep relationships. And as I mentioned before, my sister-in-law and I went to college together. And interestingly, because I had taken 3 years off college, talking about timing, she had taken her senior year off to go and teach in China.
That's cool.
Teach English in China. And so that was very cool.
Yeah.
So even the timing that she hadn't already graduated.
Yeah.
And then we were together. And then, of course, my brother came and visited me. And then the rest is history with them.
Yeah.
This episode of the Offer Your Voice podcast is sponsored by Brown Dog Coffee Company in beautiful downtown Burgaw, where we micro-roast our coffee daily.
Come see us at the shop, 103 West Fremont Street, for great coffee and good vibes.
Or visit us online at browndogcoffeeco.com. I just love how the Lord sort of weaves stories together and your journey. And even when it's unexpected and you're surprised by it, and so I ended up staying in Georgia for 15 years. I went to college there and then stayed for the rest of that time and moved back here where I grew up, about 10 years ago. And so through that season of moving back, I was really struggling with talking about transition. I was really struggling with a sense of home. Now, of course, I love my mom. I love her. I love my brother and my sister-in-law were in Raleigh at the time, and my nephews. I was excited to be able to go see their little soccer games and all that kind of stuff and be nearby. But I didn't feel like home. I couldn't navigate it because all of my sort of adult relationships, all of my ministry, everything that I had done as an adult had been in Georgia. And so that season was a difficult transition for me. But, God had amazing things in plan that I had no idea of. I mean, that's just what happens sometimes when you're sort of low and you're like, I feel a little bit like not myself and out of sorts, that if you're just keep that next step and that next step and that next step, and then to see what will come of it. Yeah. And what did come of it was I won coffee for a year at Brown Dog Coffee Company.
Nice.
So every month I was coming and getting a pound of coffee and coming into the coffee shop and visiting with Donna and Barry, the previous owners, and just fell in love with them and got connected with this community, just fell back in love with my community again from my growing up years. Beautiful. And the new of it. Yeah. And
did it look different? Did it feel different? Or was your perspective just different?
My perspective was different. Yeah. When you get connected with people that matter to you in your life, then you can pretty much do anything. Yeah.
That's good.
If you've got your family, your deep friendships, because like I said, most of my deep friendships were in Georgia and still are. I have a lot of people that I love in Georgia.
She's got a lot of friends.
A lot of people I love in Georgia. And all over the place. In Tanzania, East Africa as well. I mean, all over the place.
California.
Yes, exactly. That's
all over.
But I felt that sense of home. And only that can come when you know that you're in the right place at the right time. Yeah. And you're with the right people and the right connections. Yeah. And that's again what we want to cultivate. Because that's like with us, I mean, we became such fast friends. Yeah. Instantaneously, as soon as we had dinner one time, it became a very long, it was actually lunch that turned into coffee and then hours of just visiting and just
talking.
Same kind of thing with Holly. I had something that I wanted to start at the college, and I knew she would be a great person to have on my team, and so we just went to Rio's, our little Mexican restaurant there in Franklin Springs, Royston area, and just same kind of thing. It was like when your connections and your people. Right. Yeah. And so that's what happened with that.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's so awesome. And so what came of the free coffee?
The free coffee turned into, since I have been in nonprofit world. Yeah. Basically a missionary. I did things I was on staff in a ministry down in Atlanta, and then I would travel overseas, primarily to Tanzania, East Africa, but India, Israel, different places as well along the way. But we have a presence in East Africa that I, am very connected to with my good friends, Vicky and Vince Welch, who have a ministry called the Binti Project that I feel very passionate about, and we'll have them on the podcast sometime. We'll do a Zoom with them so they can share a bit about it because it's very important. Yeah. So I've been there several times. So it was during that season, and Donna and Barry were planning to sell the coffee shop, and they put it on the market. I was working for them a little bit part-time, just sort of helping them out a little bit and learning things. Yeah. Just because I love coffee, of course. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't? But if you don't love coffee, I do have other options. So there's those things too. But we just began to just have a great relationship. And Donna said, Michelle, I feel like you're the one to take over the coffee shop when we retire. And I was like, Donna, I am a missionary. I do not know how you think I'm going to, buy a coffee shop. But again, when you can't open doors, God can open doors that you can't. Yeah. And so after several months, I just brought it back to them again and said, well, I'm open if this works out. And within 1 week, I had a couple of different phone calls, a couple of different doors open that, again, I could not have opened myself. And then I was buying a coffee shop. So awesome. And so then Barry taught me the roasting, and, I learned all the things. And And we've just continued to cultivate that. And like I said in the previous podcast, we took over 1 week before Hurricane Florence. So that was kind of a powerful moment in our area.
Yeah.
You know, we were without power. I was without power personally for over a week, more than a week, maybe a week and a half. And, but the coffee shop, we got up and running very quickly. And so thankfully, we were sort of a little hub that people could come and do their FEMA applications and, do their schoolwork or whatever they needed to do, or even just kind of hang out a little bit, have a rhythm. It was just a beautiful, beautiful time. It was hard. It was a hard time, but it was beautiful. And then of course it was difficult through COVID, and 2020 was, you know, many small businesses closed their doors.
Absolutely.
And I will say that, you know, if it was not for the goodness of God and our loyal local customers, we have amazing loyal customers, people that love Brown Dog and they love being here.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful and thankful to them.
Yeah.
But we would have, you know, people just bring people, even when we had to do it on the sidewalk.
Yes.
And the whole street.
It would be lined.
Just lines. And it's just, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I could not have envisioned that to be as powerful as it was, but it was.
It's true.
And then, you know, 2020 was a harder year, you know, because I think folks forgot a little bit about small business, but it was hard, but then, we've navigated through, and now we're in a brand new season, and it was probably launched from a difficult place, and we can talk a little bit about that in a moment, but now we're in this brand new space, this beautiful, beautiful event space that we're so excited about for Brown Dog Coffee events that we're doing together collaboratively. And I just believe in the vision of it, because we want to bring people together. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point, is that we want to bring people together for the good.
Yep. Cultivating community and connection.
Yes.
And all the beauty. Not only is the space beautiful, but the beautiful stories that people will be able to create in this space.
And even we've already had a few of those.
I know.
I mean,
it's exciting.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And more to come. We've got
more to come.
Quite a few, you know, on the book. So that's exciting. So, yeah. So if you want to book a date, call us.
But no, you can always call the coffee shop.
That's right.
Anytime. That's right. But yeah, I think probably we should share a little bit about how this came about.
Yeah.
We were in a very difficult transition earlier this year, and felt some betrayal and pain and loss of friendship, and also, you know, things that were spoken about us that were untrue and are untrue. And that's always difficult, you know, when you know who you are, and you know the truth of your own heart, and also the truth of the way things are. When you have to walk through sort of quietly navigating the pain and the loss, and then not having necessarily a space to share when others do.
Exactly.
Then, you know, you have to just sometimes give that to God. But also, then when the right timing comes, then you have the opportunity to share. And that's what we believe in regard to all the things that we have walked through, but all the things that are yet to come, and that we're so excited about.
That's right.
And that's why Offer Your Voice is so sort of like part of us.
Yeah.
Because even as Jeana was sharing earlier, feeling her voice stolen as a young child, and how many young children feel their voices stolen that are now adults.
Absolutely.
And haven't even ever had the opportunity to go from that place to now we have a place. And I think that that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's like, you know, we'll jump back to what you were saying about the transition for sure. But it's like, I didn't realize it, until I was older, but I always hated the dentist. Not the actual dentist, but, the process and the thought of, and the actual reality being in the chair. And then I realized as an adult that it's not really certainly not getting my teeth cleaned or having any work done. It's really about my voice, and that, I didn't have one when I was in the dentist chair. That, your mouth is open and you cannot.
If you do, it's like,
right. And so I was like, wow, it was such a revelation to my own heart when I realized my fear of the dentist, which ironically, my son plans to go to dental school. So I was like, it's so awesome.
There we go, another redemptive place.
It is.
I love
That's exactly what it is. It's so cool. But the truth is, when I could work that out in my mind, and, I didn't say what I graduated with my degree in, but it is counseling and psychology. So I do sort of know some of the, how to connect the dots. But those places that you kind of walk through in life that you don't realize the why behind it until there's revelation upon it. Right. And then once there is, it's like, aha.
Well, revelation is coming to know something that you did not know before.
Absolutely.
So it's as you're walking, and then there's a moment.
Yes, that's right.
It's like a lot of times they say, the light bulb moment or something like that. But it is like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Yes.
Now I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so good. And it's so true.
It is.
That's right. But yeah, walking through this tough season, it has been such an interesting one. One that neither one of us saw coming. And the reason why we can say we is because we were sort of both cut off at the same time.
Yeah, like with a machete. And the blood was going.
So graphic, but yeah, sort of right.
It felt like that, just a little bit,
just a little bit, yeah. But the interesting part is
it's a good thing.
Right. But it is interesting though, this place that you walk through, and you don't really know how you're going to get to the other side of it because it doesn't feel hopeful at all.
Yeah. Well, especially when things make zero sense.
They make zero sense.
And really can't kind of even put your mind on the fathom, and things are completely incongruent.
They are incongruent. And there is a what would like to be, what was, let's face it, a defamation of character, but also a tainting of integrity if one would allow it to be.
Yeah.
I won't allow it to be because it was all untruth.
Sure.
Same for Michelle.
Right.
It's people's own fear and their own issues and insecurities. We know that, we can recognize that.
And the truth is, God holds our name in life. He's the one that does all that. So we don't even have to defend,
Absolutely.
It's, absolutely.
But when it's perceived that someone has more power than another, and the people with the power are believed, or the, assumed power are believed, that gets sticky. And so then you do, because we're both thoughtful of people's hearts. I'll put it like that. And I don't want that to sound some type of self-righteous
it's
language.
Real.
But the truth is we do care about people's hearts. So we did guard our words. And I do even feel like for a season I became voiceless. And and I, that's crazy, because the truth is it's my story. And if you ask me a question, I should be able to tell you my story. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, it's your story. You own your own story. Yeah. You absolutely own your own story, for sure.
And the truth is also in that I don't want to ever get stuck in somebody else's circumstance. Meaning, they put their own problems on me, on Michelle, whatever they wanted to fabricate and whatever. But I don't have to get stuck in that mess, because that's not mine. It's not mine to clean up. It's not mine to deal with. It doesn't make it any less painful, though. And that friends would turn their back on you, like, real friends, like you thought unconditional friends.
When you go on, vacations together, and stay in your home.
Yeah.
Many, many times,
You think those are like your ride or dies, and they're not.
You would think that.
But when you recognize that they're not, you have to figure out how to navigate those waters. And those were tricky waters for a season. And,
because again, just like with my dad.
Yeah.
It was out of his character.
Yes.
Or what I knew of him.
Yeah.
And so then when this tragic trauma happened and the loss that we had, then I had to reevaluate everything else. And so it's a similar thing when you have betrayal, that you feel the inconsistency and the incongruency in regard to that.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to sort of like, oh, but these were, happy moments. But then there was also a lot of this. Yeah. And, but when you get blindsided, you just are blindsided.
Right. There's that too.
There's that,
so, you will shock value to it for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. It still knocks the breath out of you for a second. But, I know the person that breathes breath.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Ruach.
Yeah. But, the reality is too, it didn't just hurt me. It also hurt Ashley and the boys. They were their friends also, and
especially Asher.
And Asher was very hurt and, just thought that you could trust people that should be trustworthy. And in hindsight, we've learned so much. It is still shocking to me, that those that I thought were my friends can't return a text or
even initiate a text from,
even if they can't initiate it, at least return one. I don't know, but whatever. That is still shocking to me how people can write you off. I am thankful that we're not that kind of friend. Yeah. So I'm just thankful that I have really great friends in my life that I've had over decades of my life.
Absolutely.
That are still dear and true and unconditional and would never do that to me. That just shows where people are in their own hearts and in their own depths.
You can trust. You can trust. Trust is not taken away because of a difficult circumstance. Trust is a valuable commodity. I mean, in relationships, you have to have communication and trust. And if communication breaks down and no one ever tells you anything,
right,
and then you're just again blindsided, and then the trust is eroded, then you absolutely do not have a relationship and possibly did not have one.
Right.
But that's okay, because the truth is, no matter what is kind of tossed at us, we have the right stuff. We have what we need to navigate it, because we have God, we have our family, we have people who love us, and it's the same in your life, and each of our lives, that no matter what, you're not alone. You're not alone. And that's the thing to take away, I feel, is that you are not alone.
You're not. And you may be going through betrayal right now yourselves, or some kind of other hurt or pain or disappointment. Even needing to offer forgiveness, because you know what they say about forgiveness, when it does us more damage, it's not really for the one we're offering forgiveness to. They don't ever have to know it. But the truth is it's for our own good, for our own hearts and our own selves. And so,
and to have a free heart. The one thing that is sort of, I heard years ago, from a pastor, and it was, you can be right or you can be free. Like you got like, oh no, I'm right. No, I'm right. Or you can just release that.
Absolutely.
And just have a free heart.
Yeah. Well,
and that's what I want. Above all things, I want to have a free heart, free to love well, to love, fully, not reserved, not with walls, not with conditions, not with agenda, only to freely give and freely love.
Yeah.
Because I believe that's what we're called to. in our life.
That's the beauty of offering your voice, though, is because we want to hear other people's stories.
Absolutely.
And they don't have to agree with us.
Yeah.
Spiritually, politically,
right.
Emotionally.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever way, whatever Lee you want to put on it.
Yeah, because otherwise then you're just like putting little soldiers in order.
Right.
And we're not doing that.
No, we're not doing that.
No, we want people to have their own agency, opinion, perspective, thinking,
thoughts.
I mean, imagine that. That's pretty significant.
It is significant. And that's what makes us up as a people, too. And then to be able to listen, and then, who's to say we hear your story and we're like, let's talk about that some more.
Yeah.
Let's hear about what that looks like for you. And let's carry on that conversation, and let's sit around and actually have some coffee and talk that through. The beauty of that is that then we're actually having real dialogue, real conversation, getting to know one another's hearts. And we both grow from doing that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Always
offering your voice. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to share in regard to transition or?
No, except for when it's really tough and you don't know how you're going to get through it. You will.
You will.
You will. You just take one more step, put that foot right in front of the other, and keep moving. They say that there's only one or two ways to do things: fight or flight. And
fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
Okay. So there's more.
There's more.
I like it. I didn't know those other.
Yeah.
Freeze or fawn. What's fawn?
Yeah. Fawn is like you just no, it's like you sort of
you kind of retreat a little bit. I'm like, okay, I see. Okay, well maybe there's four. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. But the reality is sometimes we need all of those.
Yeah.
All of them. Whether it's fight, flight, freeze, fawn, whatever, we need all of them to sort of adapt. But I will say by nature, because my mom was, I tend to be a fighter. Mm-hmm. And I believe that you just...
Well, you're kind of also wired to be a justice fighter.
Oh, well, for sure.
And so that piece right there, the justice piece, when there is injustice, it's a difficult, thing to navigate because there are moments when you have to wait.
Yeah.
And just sit.
Yeah.
And things are not as they should be.
Right.
But then there are times that you get to offer your voice. Mm-hmm. You get to say, hey, you know what happened to you that wasn't right? Mm-hmm. And I will say that to you, Jeana. What happened to you that was not right? And
same, Michelle, what happened to you was not right.
Thank you. And, it didn't have to be the way that it was. But since it was, and since we walked through it, the beauty is that it did sort of shift our lives in such a beautiful and powerful way to start something new. Years ago, when I did do the Lavish Love retreats, I would end with this clip on start something that matters. And it was all about all the gifts and the things that you have inside of you that have laid dormant a bit. But you know that they're there, or they were maybe from a past season. And I just feel like that this is the season where that's just sort of being breath of life is being blown on those things, and then new ideas. Like doing an event space is a brand new idea, but it's perfect because it's exactly what's right up our alley.
Yeah.
And I think that even sort of the mother of invention, like how necessity is the mother of invention is what they say. But it is sort of like when things shift and you have to turn 180 degrees different way, and then you need a new focus, a new direction, an undivided focus, which I've been actually really happy in these last months to have an undivided focus, to have a focus in the town that I live in.
Yeah, that's good.
And in the community that I value and that values me and values what we're doing at Brown Dog Coffee and also in the Chamber of Commerce and the town of Burgal and all the things that we're connected to that are valuable for people and for life. And we're so excited about it. And so even though those things happen that may be difficult to make you change direction, when you do change direction and then you get the vision and the focus of what is ahead, I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the sky is endless.
It is. And that's true. Like, we may not have written our own story this way.
Right.
But the greatest part is that, and it's certainly not finished, but that it is far better than I could have imagined.
Absolutely.
And even this new journey and new season and new adventure, it's so much fun. And I am having the time of my life. My family's happier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so grateful for your friendship and
Same.
and just the partnership of being able to be business owners together, and so supportive of Brown Dog Coffee, and just love all
journey
that is happening here.
The journey that you all are on with us as well. Like,
yes,
we really believe in the podcast. I know that, again, Jeana gave you the statistics in the first episode, and they're a dime a dozen. I get it. But I listen to them all the time, and I view them all the time as well. But it is sort of like how I felt about some those nostalgic TV shows that I would watch on reruns. I would watch on reruns on Lifetime, and Beth would record them for me and send them to me in college. And one of the commercials for those TV shows like Designing Women and Golden Girls, they would say, they live inside the TV, but you can still consider them your friends.
Right.
And the truth is, I absolutely do. So if I said Mary Jo, or if I said Julia, Jeana would know exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. But the truth is, that's sort of like what we want to cultivate here, is that, you know, we're a believer in friendship, and no matter, even when it has been hard in this past season, in regard to that, we still believe in it. We still believe in the good. We still believe in kindness. We still believe in open-handedness and open-heartedness. That's what I believe, and that's what I know Jeana believes. Yeah. And that's what we want to do in regard to the podcast. So we want you guys to be in the community. We want to see what it is that God wants to do, but also what voices you have. You know, we already have Tracy coming on to talk about Safe Haven. We've been a big sponsorship of Safe Haven with the coffee shop, and we want to just hear her story and her journey, as well as being the director and helping facilitate this beautiful program. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things ahead that we are excited about.
And so many stories.
So many stories.
There's this quote that I love, that it says, and I kept it close to me because, as said earlier, you know, fear of failure is one of my things that could be a crutch if I allowed it to be. But it says, I might misquote it, but I'm going to do my best. It says something like, my greatest fear is not failing. It is at succeeding at something that doesn't matter. And your voice matters. Yeah. And so that's success, for you to be able to tell your story and to be able to hear that and to be able to share that with others who may be like, oh, I'm not alone in this, or there is more to the story always.
Absolutely.
Right?
There's always more.
Yeah. And so we just want you to know that we want you to be our friends. We want to be your friends, and we want to go through this journey together, because your voice does matter, and we want you to offer your voice. And in the words of Molly Ringwald.
That's right.
In Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink. Perfect for us.
It is perfect. We just want to let them know that they didn't break us.
Absolutely. Till next time.
See you down the road.